Hello, everybody. My name is Daniel Perez, and today I will present to you my scheme of the foreign on the foreign acquisition and learning. All right. For the start, my scheme is divided in three parts. The first part is the course description, course particularities, and characteristics and phase. Here is the phase 1, acquisition activity, phase 2, participant, phase 3, participant and observation, uh, phase 4, participant and observation, and, and phase 5, learning outcome. The part 2 is the chapters. Chapters 1, chapters 2, chapter 3, chapter 4, chapter 5, so long, and chapter 8. Chapter 8, um, the, um, the last part is the part 3, is chapter of the guidelines and regulation of road of educational practice and pedagogies. Right. Okay. And the the course of description. What is the part 1? The description of the course has private scores. In this case of educational science, this practical scores has the scenario of pedagogical practice in school that also counts on the main scenario of pedagogical practice. Characteristic is ours, divided in three parts. In three parts of each phase that include the work material. The hours spent in the classroom and spec, mm, excuse me, is ESPEC, spec, that help us to have a practical space with the virtual teacher of the university. The student, it is important. This is important to learn of the carry out and distribution of what was learned at the university, the practical space. The highlight what is fundamental is the fundamental for the student to see the well prepared teacher. The part two, the part two is the captures the guidelines of the regulation of the road of educational practice and pedagogy. Okay, it's second. In the second, the captures are called by the guidelines of the pre-practice seminar. Pre-practice seminar, which is the accompaniment where the student communicates with the tutor to give of the data and async. And async, term and institution and of pedagogical practice, the pedagogical practice. This accompaniment, this accompaniment is essential before starting the institute period. Pedagogical, these occur signs of the university grant some regulation for the student, this for practical training of the university. These norms it is established to comply with the pre-practice seminar. The pre-practice seminars is fundamentally important for before before the start of the part practice. Um, Pre-evaluation and of the ARL. ARL registration and to complete with the hours established the institution is so the part 3 the part 3 the captures the guidelines of regulation of the root educational growth of the practice and pedagogies. Okay, in the last part it highlight in the more details of article of compliance or completes with the practice of each student who studies the science of education. Activity highlighting the principles of action of the teacher in the training in the pedagogical educational practice. The accompaniment of the teacher will will be fundamental. They will fundamental basis for the training in question. In question having the experience of the carry out in classroom or in knowledge learning to share it with the student, not the only of learning or learning of this on the subject, and but also discipline the we exercise of the future teachers with the accompaniment of teacher with time experience will help and this training process of the profession educational science, right. I want to see this part on the chapter 3 curriculum aspects of the training both pedagogical and education practice. The articles is the most important in this part because these articles with the moniums. All right, we next. Excuse me for wait. It's hard work with this with that cell phone. Excuse me for that sound, and it's a party. A party in anyway. We next. I wanna talk about why it's important the practice and pedagogical of the students. All right, it's important. The general law education in the article establish a purpose the training of educators to train and educators to be heightened scientific and ethical quality develop pedagogical theory is very important that and practice as part fundamental the knowledge of the educators. The straight with strength of pedagogical field and speaks knowledge, specific knowledge, and prepares the educators and graduate level for different and levels and weight and private educational service. And this framework at pedagogical practice and concept and process of self-reflections, which is becomes that space conceptualization and research, research and scientific experimentation, where the enrolled student approaches knowledge and articulate way from different disciplines and that enriched and introducing of the educational process and teaching function The same, this space developed and grounded student possibilities of reflected scarcity, critically, or their practice basis continued registration. Registration, mm, analysis balance, analysis balance of the pedagogical action, consecutive practice for development of professional skill. Mm, that organized education environment, reflection and confrontation promises aspects, intellectual, ethical, on straight to subject, right? The dialogue between the subject and knowledge and reconciliation on context, the generation transfers pedagogical and disciplinary knowledge training beginning the scenario from which the ethical learning also promoted, which means that conceptation on education pedagogical dialogue practice, teaching the teachers from beginning and training process, and in Colombian system to training educators policy guidelines, and these years is 2013, the ministry organized pedagogy, research and evaluation articulation axes that are transversal to initial in service advanced training of educators were pedagogical practice, the curricular design of the identified rules and teacher action meeting and meeting points, particularly in initial rebels region of order to contribute to the consolidation and confirmation of knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and fundamental didactics in the educational work, right? And just 1 second. All right, we next to end. Why is this in the scenario something important to practice? In the practice, center the relationship of the independence and continuous feedback, where concept and practice they combine in their learning experience and skill, developed the future educator in these science. The disciplinary and pedagogical man reception city it is for the parts theoretical perspective of the discipline is enriched with the cognitive imbalance generated the practice scenario and into turns the pragmatic perspective to learning context and encourage reflection and feedback. The star essence theoretical. Thus, it is expected that curriculum design of the better degree account a new dynamic of the future teachers of the dear themselves to maintain and enrich the content depths of this learning space. Attitude is the highlight evaluate and value the performance of the practice teacher, the way which is the power of the university with its curricular autonomy. Autonomy now it is foreign and it recommended that practice component be located and educational because It's the content which integrated the priority to the future. Uh, that's right, my friends, and that's all for today. Thank you for watch this video. See you soon. Thank you for all.